Okay, good morning to everyone wherever you're viewing from. Today we are continuing with the listening test which we started yesterday. Nice to see you again this morning. If you're viewing from the YouTube platform, please do well to like this video, and if you have any question or concern, kindly drop at the comment section of this video. Alright, so let's begin. We are continuing with the listening test which we started yesterday, and based on what we were able to achieve yesterday, I showed us or took us through the important keys which would actually help you to achieve great success in your listening test. And just a quick recap, the 3 T's, which we call the important keys. The 3 T's are the trick, also known as the bracket trick, the tips, as well as the techniques. Now these 3 T's, the first, which is a trick, helps you to understand how to apply the bracket trick, which is a practice of putting a part of your answer which you are not so sure about whether or not it should be there in bracket. So when you hear a word or you hear some words which you find to be the potential answers, one way to stay safe is putting that part of the answer or that word that make up your answer, leaving it in bracket. So doing that will make your answer safe, because you may hear an answer and you write that answer, that word, perhaps in a plural form, whereas what was pronounced was actually in a singular form. So because you added an S to the word, that S will make the word invalid and you're going to lose that mark. So the best thing to do is, when you hear a word that you feel is or was pronounced in the plural form, it is actually smart or safe to write that word, write the singular version, then the S, which makes it plural, you leave it in bracket just beside that same word, very close to it. Then make it or leave it in bracket. So doing that will automatically make that S optional to the examiner. In the sense that if what the examiner wants is a singular version of the word, the examiner will definitely ignore that S because it is in bracket. So your answer will be marked correct. And if actually the examiner wants your answer to be in a plural form, that S that is in bracket will definitely be acknowledged. So it just places you safe. It doesn't affect you in any way. It doesn't cost you anything. So what you need to do basically is understanding how to apply the bracket trick and knowing when and where to apply them. Now, the instance I just cited of words that has to be put, or the word that is considered to either be in singular or plural form, leaving the plural form, which is the S in brackets, this actually treats or comes in under a section that says no more than one word and or a number. This means you do not need to write beyond one word as your answer. Then, if your instruction says no more than 2 words, that means you can write 1 word answer, you can write 2 words, but do not exceed 2 words. So if what you have heard is a 2-word answer and you consider the 2 words to be potential answer to that question, you are treating. But then you are not 101% sure if one of those 2 words is actually necessary to come in. So what you need to do at that point would be identify the key word which is supposed to be the primary answer. Then the other word that makes it a second word, you want to check if that word is a supporting word. That means it is not very necessary to be there, but then it can also fly. So what do you do to play safe? Because no more than 2 words does not compel you to write all your answers as 2 words. It is possible that just 1 word is perfect to go. So what you need to do, apply the bracket trick. Write the primary answer and leave it open. Then the other word, which is considered to be a supporting word, can then be in bracket. So when that happens, the examiner marking your script will consider the word that is left open as your main answer. So if, for instance, what they want is just that main answer, examiner marks it correct and ignores the one in bracket. But if what the examiner wants is the 2 words, both the one you left open and the one that is in bracket, examiner would acknowledge both and you are good to go. But let's assume you just wrote the 2 words, you didn't put any in bracket. And then what the IELTS examiner has actually configured to be the correct answer happens to be the primary word. Just 1 word. And you wrote 2 words without anyone in bracket. Automatically, your answer will be marked incorrect. Even if the instruction says no more than 2 words, that doesn't mean the 2 words must go. Alright? So this is a way to stay safe when you are treating your listening test under a section that says no more than 2 words and or a number. Okay? Now, there is another section that would say no more than 3 words and or a number. What does this mean? It means that your answer can come in 1 word, your answer can come in 1 word and a number. It means your answer can come in 2 words, it could come in 2 words and a number. It can as well come in 3 words and a number. Then lastly, it can come as a number without a word. So when you read the instruction and it says no more than 3 words and or a number, don't go writing 3 words all through under that section. Doing that might end up shooting yourself right in the foot. Right? So you will end up realizing that about 70% of those answers may be incorrect. Okay? So you need to understand that when you read a question, try as much as possible to interpret the question correctly, and that will leave you a high chance of having your answers correctly written. So that is about the trick. Now, we also learned that for the tips, you should read the instruction before you begin to attempt any question or section. Read the instruction and know what you are expected to do. You are meant to identify how many words you have to write under that section. You are meant to read the questions before the audio begins to play. You are meant to write your answers while the audio is playing. You are free to write 2 potential answers beside the question being treated. Then when you are done, you now take the one that is better out of the 2 and write. Then you are also meant to understand that IELTS is testing your spelling skills. So when you are writing your listening and reading test, ensure that you spell every word in full and spell all words correctly, because correct spellings matter a lot. Also, when you are taking in your listening test, understand that when you miss an answer, go on with the next question. Do not pause your concentration to begin to think of the words or answer you've missed. If you do that, you will automatically be missing even more. So if you miss an answer, proceed to the next question and keep going on. And at the end of that particular section, you can of course go back to the questions that you missed and then see if you can think out a word that may be best to suit that particular area. Also, understand that if you are not very conversant with instructions, pardon me, if you are not very conversant with punctuations, if your level of understanding of punctuation, if your level of exposure about punctuation is actually not so vast, you are strongly advised that during your listening and reading test, write all your answers in block letters. Write all your answers in capital letters. That will place you safe. And if you wish to go by this particular tip, you are strongly advised to take it from question 1 through to question 40. Don't try to mix them all by writing capital letter to when you are at question 1. Then question 2, you are mixing capital and small letters. Question 3, you are writing small letters. Question 4, you are writing capital letters. Don't do that. If you want to apply the block letter template or approach, please take it through questions 1 to 40. This will keep you safe. This will help make your answers to be safe and correct. Okay? So these are the tips. Now for techniques, yesterday we also talked about you understanding how the audio paraphrases questions that you read on your question paper. A lot of test takers tend to miss their answers because they don't get to know the particular section or area or question that the audio is treating at that point in time. So because of that, they wouldn't know when answers are said, and of course they automatically would miss the answers. So the techniques we treated yesterday, we were able to understand how the audio changes what is written on the question when it's actually talking about those areas by using words, using figures, using fractions, using percentages, and using general terminologies. So the audio will always not read questions using the exact words that are on your question paper. Don't expect that. It never happens. Alright? So you are actually meant to expect what we call paraphrase. The audio is going to paraphrase everything that is on the question, especially the key information, the key words that you have on the question paper. Audio would change them. So yesterday we were able to learn how audio paraphrases words to figures and figures to words, how audio paraphrases words or figures to percentage or fractions, how the audio paraphrases words or figures to general terminologies. So to actually get all of these, please go to the YouTube channel, go to this YouTube channel and have a look at yesterday's class. You will get to know all of these training, all of these tips, all of these techniques. You will clearly understand this, and this will help you to actually link up to today's session. Okay, so let's proceed to what we have today. On the board, we have 4 sections. Section 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this actually interprets the fact that IELTS listening test is divided into 4 sections. Now the IELTS listening test lasts for about 40 minutes. Now within these 40 minutes, you're going to answer 40 questions. And each question carries 1 mark, right? And of course, there are 4 sections during the listening test. So let's look at what you need to do. Yesterday, I re-emphasized on the fact that listening test requires your 101% concentration and attention. Do not allow or accept any form of distraction. Do not condone any form of distraction. Ensure you pay maximum attention and concentration to the listening test for that period of 35 to 40 minutes. Okay? If you make the mistake of drifting away or yielding to distractions, you will definitely miss important information which may lead to your answer or even be the correct answers. Okay? So always give the listening test that 101% concentration and attention. So let's go through these 4 sections. The 4 sections right here, I would like to take you through each. So section 1 is actually, we are focusing on dialogue. We know what dialogue means: conversation or discussion between 2 persons or 2 parties. Discussion between 2 persons or 2 parties. So during your listening test, it is observed that over 80% of dialogues that you meet or come across in section 1 is often via telephone calls, where someone would phone in to either make inquiries or lodge a complaint or report a situation or